In many ways, the work of a critic is easy. We risk very little, yet enjoy a position over those who offer up their work and themselves to our judgment. We thrive on negative criticism, which is fun to write and to read. But the bitter truth we critics must face is that in the grand scheme of things, the average piece of junk is probably more meaningful than our criticism designating it so. But there are times when a critic truly risks something, and that is in the discovery and defense of the new. The world is often unkind to new talent, new creations. The new needs friends. Last night I experienced something new. An extraordinary meal from a singularly unexpected source. To say that both the meal and its maker have challenged my preconceptions about fine cooking is a gross understatement. They have rocked me to my core. In the past, I have made no secret of my disdain for Chef Gusteau's famous motto, "Anyone can cook," but I realize only now do I truly understand what he meant. Not everyone can become a great artist, but a great artist can come from anywhere. It is difficult to imagine more humble origins than those of the genius now cooking at Gusteau's, who is, in this critic's opinion, nothing less than the finest chef in France. I will be returning to Gusteau soon, hungry for more.
Much like a lot of other people, I love Ratatouille. It's the epitome of a perfect Pixar movie, since you can watch it as a kid and be entertained, and then as you grow up, you realize how true the words spoken in it are. And there are no truer words in film than Anton Ego's famous review at the end of the film. I wanted to open this video up with that clip because I really feel like it represents what I'm trying to portray with this video. It's a clip I've watched hundreds of times and seem to have always understood, but much like art, I feel like I've never really understood it until I saw Strange World. For those of you unaware, Strange World was a movie that came out in 2022, created by Disney, that was a massive flop, mostly due to the poor marketing of the movie. As somebody who's seen it, I can also say that it does have a rather lackluster story, and I don't want anybody to be confused. I'm not trying to praise this movie here. Strange World is everything that you've heard it is. It is incredibly boring, unfunny, the cast members don't have any chemistry, and the voice acting is laughably bad. This movie is the epitome of mediocrity, in my own opinion. There are no better words to describe this film than the average piece of junk.
It's actually quite bad.
But if that is the case, then we must also accept that it inherently holds more value than my opinion dictating that it is so. And for some context, I think I should probably explain where I'm coming from. I have seen Strange World twice in my life, once when it came out, and a second time only a few months ago. The first time I saw it was nothing special. It was just another Saturday where I got up early, went to a matinee showing of Strange World, got out, and then did my school homework for the rest of the day. I did not come away from this film with any provocative thoughts. I barely even remembered it until I saw it the second time. However, something did happen when I went to go see that movie that has changed the way I think about art forever. As I was sitting there near the back of this movie theater, being thoroughly unenthused at every joke that was being made that didn't land, I couldn't help but notice a family of four sitting 2 rows in front of me. 2 little girls and their parents. And every time I rolled my eyes at the unfunny jokes or the weak plot points or the stupid characters, those 2 girls would laugh, they would cry, they would cheer, they would scream, and they sat on the edge of their seats the entire time. It was probably really lucky it was only the 2 of us and like 3 other people in that theater that day. I can only imagine how other people would have reacted to their excitement. When this first started, I was confused. Why would they be so invested in a movie that was so mediocre? And that's a question that's puzzled me ever since I first saw that movie. One of the reasons I wanted to revisit this movie was because I was confused if maybe I missed something. Maybe there was some sort of secret heart at the center of this movie that made it amazing. But no, it was everything I remembered it being. After a while, I realized I was never going to get an answer to that question. Not because of anything rational, like the fact that I would never see those people again, but because I realized there was only one true answer to that question. It doesn't matter. Nobody, much less two little girls, need a reason to like something. But that's the thing, they didn't like it. They loved it. I don't think I've ever seen somebody in a theater so excited as Avengers Endgame. And that's finally when I realized what Anton Ego had been trying to tell me all these years. The single most underappreciated and misunderstood line of his entire review.
Average piece of junk is probably more meaningful than our criticism designating it so.
Strange World is not important to me, but that doesn't stop the movie from being important to those two girls. This will be a movie they cherish for the rest of their lives. They will dress up like characters for Halloween. They will get birthday cakes themed in the creatures of this universe. They may even write stories that are set in this strange world. And yes, it's very likely that they may grow up and reflect on this movie with negative criticism. Much like me, they may think back on this movie as just another average piece of junk. Or they may defend this movie for the rest of their lives, swearing by it and proclaiming their love for it. I think we all have our own versions of Strange World. I know for me, it's a little film called Treasure Planet. I may never have played Mass Effect or watched Cyberpunk Edge Runners without my first dip into sci-fi. Much like how Strange World affected those two girls, Treasure Planet affected me. And if a film as insignificant and mediocre as Strange World can do that, then why can't we believe that any film can affect anybody in any way? Because that is the true power of art, the ability to affect even just a single person. And if you ask me, then doing that is infinitely more valuable than just sending out a tweet about a movie being trash. Anybody that makes a movie, whether it's Tarantino or Wiseau, are doing something that only a select few people know how to do, and many less even get the chance to do. But anybody who makes art is doing it for that reason, to affect anybody. And so now I think I understand what art should be about. And it's only because I got to see Strange World through the eyes of these two little girls. I'm not trying to say that I will stop stating my opinion, because even if it's not of value to anybody else, it is still of value to me. But now I do it with the understanding that the average piece of junk is probably more important than my criticism against it. And much like Ego, I will try and find those without friends. The underappreciated and the neglected. The misunderstood and the underrated. Those that, in my opinion, are nothing short than a masterpiece. Something that, if you were to ask those two girls, Strange World most certainly is. And to anybody out there who wants to be a creator, that wants to produce art, please keep going, because I promise you, no matter what you make, even if it's Strange World, it will affect somebody. And never let anybody use art that you make as a weapon against you. And definitely don't let anybody tell you that they could have done a better job than what you did. Because going by statistics, they most likely can't. And that's something I've always tried to preach on this channel. As much as I might criticize the average piece of junk, I don't want anybody to ever think that I'm trying to say that I could do a better job than the people who made it. Even though in the case of Strange World, I definitely could.